Shall illustrate on how we can calculate the expected return on individual share using the security market line. Now, example 1, we have shares in ABC PLC which have a bet of 1.2 and risk-free interest rate of 4% per annum. And the expected return on the market is 7%. Now we're required using the security market line to estimate the required rate of return on that particular stock. Okay, this is our security market line equation, which says expected return on individual share is equal to risk-free return plus beta times difference between return on market and risk-free return. Now our risk-free return in our example 1 is 4% times beta of 1.2. This is multiplied by the difference between the return on market, which is 7%, minus risk-free return 4%. So the expected return will be equal to 1.2 times 3%. So this will be equal to 4 plus 3.6%. So at the end, the expected return will be equal to 7.6% per annum. So in our example 1, based on the security market line, the return on individual share will be equal to 7.6%. Okay, example 2, we say the rate of return on treasury bills, which is a risk-free asset, is 5% per annum. The expected rate of return on the market portfolio over the same period is 8%. If an investment has a beta of 1.2, we are required to estimate the required rate of return on that particular asset. Okay, we can use the same security market line equation to illustrate example 2. Now in our example 2, the risk-free return is 5% per annum. So 5% added on. So risk-free return of 5% plus beta. So beta of this investment is 1.2 multiplied by the difference between market return of 8% and we deduct the risk-free return of 5%. So if you multiply, we have 5% plus 1.2 times 3%. So here the required rate of return will be equal to 5% plus 3.6. So our rate of return will be equal to 8.6%. So this is how we can calculate the expected return using the security market line. Okay, we are illustrating example number 3, which says that share of AB PLC has a beta of 1.5, the risk-free rate of return is 5%, and the market expected return is 9%. You want to invest in AB PLC shares. Okay, we want to do example number 3, which says share of AB PLC has a beta of 1.5 and risk-free return of 5%. Market expected return is 9%. Now you want to invest in AB PLC shares and the expected return from shares is 11%. Now you ask, is the share overpriced according to the capital asset pricing model? Okay, we are using the security market line equation or capital asset pricing model equation to illustrate equation number 3. Now before we judge whether the share is overpriced or not according to capital asset pricing model, we need first to calculate the expected return of a share based on capital asset pricing model. Now in our equation we've given the risk-free return of 5%. Risk-free return of 5% plus a beta of 1.5 multiplied on difference between the return on the market, which is 90%, minus risk-free return of 5%. So if we calculate, we get 5 plus 1.5 times 4. So here we have 5 plus 6, which is equal to 11%. So this 11% is our return calculated based on the capital asset pricing model. Now we compare the return calculated based on capital asset pricing model with the expected return given in the question, which is 11%. Now, because the expected return given according to the market is equal to return calculated based on capital asset pricing model, then we say the share is fairly priced. So the share is not overpriced. So according to our question, is the share overpriced? According to capital asset pricing model, the share is not overpriced. So the share is fairly priced. Okay, now we move to multi-factor version of capital asset pricing model, which was proposed by Farmer and French in 1993 and in 1996. Now this moved away from the single factor model of capital asset pricing model to three-factor model. Now, according to Farmer and French, they suggest to add other two factors in the equation which relate to value and gross risk. Now, after adding these two factors in the original capital asset pricing model, now the equation changed to the three-factor capital asset pricing model. So Farmer and French, they suggested to add the size risk and the value risk in the original capital asset pricing model. Now, after adding the two factor in the original, now after adding the two factors, now the equation become, you see in our left hand side of our equation, we have the return on share or individual share at time t minus the risk-free return, which is equal to alpha plus beta 1 multiplied on return on market at time t minus risk-free return. Now beta 1, this is the measure of market risk. Now we have beta 2, which is multiplied on SMB at time t plus beta 3, which is multiplied on HML plus the error term. Now we've already explained each of the term in the equation. Now we have two factors which were added by the French, Farmer and French in the three-factor model. We have the SMB, which stands for small minus b. Now the small minus b, we say this is designed to measure the additional returns investors have historically received by investing on shares of companies with relative small market capitalization. Now say the SMB factor is computed as an average return of the smallest 30% stock minus the average return of the largest 30% stock in that particular month. So the SMB factor is calculated on a monthly basis. So if you get the positive SMB, it indicates that the small capital stocks performed better than larger capital stock in that particular month. In case we have a negative, it will be a small or larger capital stock performed better than the small capital stock. Now this is how we can calculate the SMB factor. Now let us see on how we can calculate the HML factor. Now the HML factor stands for short, no, it is a short, or stands for high minus low. Now the high minus low is constructed to measure the value premium provided to investors who invest in companies with high book to market value. Now the HML factor is calculated as the average return for the 50% of stock with the highest book to market ratio minus the average return of the 50% of stocks with lowest book to market ratio in each month. Now say in case we have a positive HML, it indicates that the value stock performed better than the gross stock. Now the value stock is for firms with highest book to market ratio, and those which is called the gross stock are the one with lowest book to market ratio. Now how to calculate the book value? This is based on the accounting value of assets, and the market value is obtained by multiplying the share price times the number of shares. Now, according to Farmer and French, they said that SMB and HML factor represent the objective risk, which is measured in terms of deviation. Now, we have other scholar, Statman, Fish and Engineer 2008, they said that SMB and HML represent the subjective risk, which is the possibility that effect of social perception and emotional factor may influence the individual decision. Now, according to Farmer and French, they say that both objective risk and subjective risk have positive relationship with the expected return. So this means the higher the risk, the higher the return will be demanded by investors to be compensated for the risk taken. Now, after Farmer and French, we have another scholar known as Cart, who suggested to add the other one factor in the three-factor model. Now, after adding another factor, now the equation become a four-factor model. So, according to Cart, suggested to add another one factor, which is the momentum risk. Now, the momentum risk, you say this is, it is described as a tendency of share price to continue rising if it is going up, or to continue declining if it is going down. Now, say the momentum, this is a tendency for recent high returns to persist for a time. So, share price which is increasing is expected to persist for a time, and if it is going down or declining, it is also expected to persist over a certain period of time. So after adding the first factor, now we have equation number 3, which say excess return on individual share, which is the difference between return on individual share at time t minus risk-free returns, is equal to alpha plus beta 1 multiplied by the excess return on the market, which is the difference between return on the market at time t minus risk-free return at time t, plus beta 2 multiplied by SMB factor, plus beta 3, which is multiplied by HML factor, plus beta 4, which is multiplied by UMD factor, plus the error 10. Now this new factor, which is the UMD, which is the measure of momentum factor, say this is UMD, this is the abbreviation or short of up minus down. So this measure how the recent return on a portfolio of the best performing stock, or it is obtained by taking the average return of recent return on a portfolio of best performing stock minus the recent return on a portfolio of worst performing stock. Now, say the momentum factor, which is abbreviated by UMD, it incorporates the human behavior dimension to the capital asset pricing model. Now, as we've seen, after adding the first factor, now we can say that return on individual share, it is a function of 4 independent risk factor. The first one is the market risk, second one size risk, value risk, and the momentum risk.